What's up, my Facebook friends and family? Thank you guys for joining us tonight on Power P. And this is going to be an amazing episode. Um, Hopefully, we get a lot of comments and questions from all of our viewers. And we have a special guest on tonight. And I'm so glad that she is here with us. You might know her hubby from our other previous shows. But do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, join our Facebook group, and we are loving all the comments and the posts in our Facebook group. We really appreciate it. You guys make us laugh on a daily, so don't stop doing that. We just ask, no racism, just be, respectful to everyone. Um, but we like everybody's different views and opinions on things. So it's a very like diverse group that we have going on here, which is amazing. So I'm Lady E, and as many of you know, I am going to pass it over to Christy.
Hello, everybody. No airport in the background today. So I'm home. I'm jet lagged. I'm tanned, but I will take it. So listen, thank you for tuning in. This is our second Power P podcast, all woman panel. But just because we're all women here doesn't mean that we don't want any male input. We absolutely want male input. This is what this is all about, right? For us to engage with everybody that's on the page. So also, remember to if you like our podcast, you like the regular Clock Watch podcast, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like it, comment, share it, tell your friends about it, and then tell your friends to tell their friends about it. So I am actually going to send it over to Miss Spitter, which is Mr. Spitter's other half, the better half. But in any case, there she goes.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm a super fan. You guys, I'm so excited to see you all and talk to you in real life. I mean, I've been a super fan of Chrissy's for a long time, but I love you guys too. I'm really excited to do this tonight.
Yeah.
It's on you,
Montana?
Montana.
Sorry, I'm lagging a little bit here. Montana, North Carolina. Again, glad to be here. Appreciate you guys having me. And it's really hot out here. Just so everyone knows, I'm sweating profusely out here. So, but I can't wait. Let's get into this.
We're glad you guys are here joining us tonight. So we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to set it off with our first question of the night. Can you be friends with someone from the opposite sex? And what if that person was your ex? All right. So I'm actually going to send it over to Miss Spitter because she was quite insightful with this. So on you.
Well, opposite sex or ex, my answer is still kind of the same. It really depends. It depends when you were together, how serious it was. It depends on where you met, how you're friends now. Like, are you kind of friends? Are you Facebook friends? Or are you like hang out alone friends? You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference. If you're being like secretive about your ex or about your opposite sex friend to your partner, that's a problem. And well, if my husband wants to be friends with a girl or a guy wants to be friends with me, it really depends. Hi, TJ. Like the level of respect and their intentions, you can really tell kind of what they're about. And for me, if I feel like a guy is not being friendly, being pervy, I'm just like shutting it down. I mean, you're not my friend. We're not doing that. It's not happening. But I do have like, one really, really close guy friend. His wife comes over. We all hang out, families together and stuff. And we made friends at work. And it was just casual. It just happened. We just get along. So, I mean, it happens.
But does that really count because he came with his wife?
He was single when I met him. Me and my husband went to his wedding. And we love her. Love her. But first time he invited me over was you and your husband and kids want to come over for a cookout. Yeah. That just shows his intention.
Yeah.
You know? So it's all situations.
I think it's also a little different because you're married, right? So he acknowledged that you're married. So at that point, he understands that there ain't nothing going beyond friendship, right? Unless you cue him into something else.
I mean, he still could think that. You know how guys think.
No male bashing, Lady E.
I'm just speaking the truth. That's not a male bashing. I didn't say all men, okay? I said some men.
So what's your take on it? Is that it? Is that it, Jackie? You feel like it all depends on what the circumstances, and
Totally.
then you can kind of make a judgment call for there. So one doesn't equal the other.
Mhm.
Okay. What about you, Lady E?
So, funny that you guys mentioned this because I actually posted the same question on my page months ago about it, and I got a lot of feedback on it because a lot of people said that it was not possible. Me, on the other hand,
Mm.
I think that men and women can be friends because of just my personal experience. Um, well, the question I put was, can men and women be friends, or is there always a hidden agenda behind it? So it may, like, women may not feel, some sort of way towards the man, but the man's always like has that in the back of their head, like, oh, if I am friends with this person for, and I keep, talking to this person and getting to know this person, they're gonna like eventually fall in love with or whatever. Or it could be like vice versa with a woman. So, but I have friends that we have never done anything sexual with. We just get along. I get along more, like, better with um, males than I do females. And it's just like maybe because I played sports when I was younger. I was always around guys. I had an older brother. I was always around his friends. Um, but I definitely think that it is possible. And if you are already in a relationship and the other person is respectful of that, then I don't see a problem with a male and a female being a friend. Once they cross that line, though, with like creepiness, like Miss Bitter was saying, that's when, like, okay, why are you talking to me? Like, you're not respecting boundaries, you're not respecting my relationship, and that's not what friends do.
Right.
So either you're my friend or you're trying to get in my pants. Which one is it? Because you're not being honest with me on that. And if you're not going to be honest and straightforward with me, then that's not a friend either. So it all just depends on the situation, the person. What was the last part of that question? Can you?
And what if it was your ex? What if it was your ex?
Oh,
Could you be
okay.
friends with your ex?
So um, most of my exes I'm not really friends with, but there are a couple that I still check on now and again, or like we're Facebook friends or whatever. But there's one of them that, like, I'm still really really good friends with. We hang out, we talk, whatever. But it's not like, it's not like, oh, a friends with benefits type of thing. Even though, you know stuff has happened in the past, dating. So I mean, and he's in a relationship now, so I'm like, I'm happy for you, good for you, that's
How does
great.
his partner feel about you guys being friends?
I don't know, honestly. Like, we have not, like, discussed that because we haven't, like, really talked since he's gotten a girlfriend. So I'm not really sure. Like, we've spoken like months ago, but then I saw on Facebook that he has a new girlfriend, so maybe that's why I'm not hearing anything from him, or I don't know, but
Probably.
maybe. But maybe he's just, when you're in a new relationship and everything is new and exciting, and it's like you don't even want to talk to anybody else except that person. So, I mean, yeah, maybe that's why. So I'm just giving them their space because respectful, and yeah. But I don't see a problem with it.
Well, I'm gonna save mine last because you know I go off on a tangent. So what about you, Montana? What do you think about this?
I think it depends on a lot of variables. There's a lot that's going on to that question. Like I said, some of my best friends are men, and nothing has ever happened between us, and nothing ever would. And we established that from we didn't even have to. You know, they talk about their wives and their kids, and you're like, oh yeah, like your family life and everything. You don't even it just doesn't even go there. And if for 1 second, if you start to think that it might go there, you back off.
Yeah.
You back off of that, and that's not your friend. That's not your friend. That's a motive. So if you think there's a motive there, then you back off. As far as your ex goes, it depends on if you're in a relationship. If you're in a serious relationship and you're friends with your ex, but your current one doesn't like it, you need to dead that too. Just out of respect, if that's like that. How important is your ex? Because he's still your ex.
Right. And there was intimacy there at some point.
So
right?
if he's uncomfortable with it and he's like, listen, and he's reasonable about it and he has legit reason to be, I'm jealous of this person. I don't want him around us. And he doesn't want to be friends with me. I don't want to be friends with him. Who's more important? An ex that didn't work out or the person you're with, you're trying to rebuild with. So.
Yeah.
Listen, I see you guys are watching and I appreciate that, but we need some comments. We need some feedback. You're getting a woman's point of view here. I want some men to chime in. We want a male perspective on this. Like, what do you think? Because you're getting, all our, like I said, all the estrogen going on in this room right now. We need some
All of
testosterone up
them
in
need.
here. All right. So give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. I kind of agree with all the ladies on the panel. We try to get some contrasting views here, but I think it's the most part the same across the board. I think if you speak to any woman, it is going to depend on the situation. So I will be very honest with you and say that I have a double standard in this. I have a double standard in this. I absolutely do. I have a bunch of male friends that I trust that are platonic. I have one that I've been friends for 35 years with him. We never did anything. And if I was dating someone, I'd be kind of pissed if he got a bunch of girlfriends that he's hanging out with because I'm always going to look at it as competition, right? I'm gonna act like I'm okay. I'm gonna be like, nah, go ahead, yeah, y'all could go out. What that motherfucker doing? Yo, I'm gonna get my spy gear out. I'm a put that little GPS on your truck. You know me. I do investigations. I'm Chrissy PI, right? Like, like
Yep.
I'm gonna do all of that. Now, if I feel like I can trust a woman, if so, I think this is the important part, right? And I'm talking as a relationship, being a woman in the relationship. If my counterpart was took the opportunity and took the moment to introduce me to his female friend and try to kind of smooth that over and make us be okay with each other and where I become friends with her, I think I'll probably be a lot more comfortable in the situation. um because that's what I would do with my male friends. I would always introduce them and be like, hey, look, this is a cool cat. I want you to just see this. I want you to, understand that we are completely friends, and nothing else is coming out of it.
Right.
Before I go into can you be friends with your ex, let's read Mickey. He said, I think everyone hit the nail on the head pretty much. So I guess, it depends on the situation and the circumstances of the situation and what the motive of the other person is, right? Like, are they undercover? Like, are they just trying to be your friend to get in your drawers? Or are they your friends because they truly want to be your friend and see that there's some type of benefit in that friendship? Okay. Um, I want to go to Kelsey's. Thank you, Kelsey, very much for posting this comment before we'll go into the ex. Kelsey says, my boyfriend said he thinks it's perfectly fine as long as there's no hidden agenda and there's mutual respect. He knows I have a ton of male friends from back home and he's fine with it. And he doesn't have as many female friends, but I trust him, and he has taken the time to introduce me to them, and I have become good friends with a lot of them. And that was kind of the point. Thank you, Kelsey, for chiming in with that. I think that was kind of the point that I was making, that the partner has to make sure you're comfortable with that situation. And if at any point you don't, then they have to understand that they may have to pull out of that friendship if your relationship is important enough to them. Right? Now, going back to the can you be friends with your ex? I'm friends with a ton of my exes.
Me too.
I'm friends with a ton of my exes. We just didn't work out as a couple. We
Right.
weren't, it just didn't happen. As a matter of fact, I said it on a previous podcast. Me and my baby daddy, my son's father, my middle one, we are actually really good friends. Like, he's one of my go-to guys when I have a situation or an issue in my dating or relationship.
Co-parenting is definitely an exception. Like, if you have to parent together, you have to be friends.
Yeah, but my kid is going to be 20. There's no more co-parenting going on here.
Oh, true.
Like, you know what I mean? There's no more
You still need a lot of
co-parenting.
support with that one, though.
Well, yeah, I do. You're
He's
right.
going to stick
Like,
around for a while.
Yeah, he's going to be around for a while. But I think
You're
we
really
become-
lucky because I do not have that type of friendship with my kids' fathers, like, at all.
One I do, one I don't. So I
Okay.
have both ends of the spectrum, But I want to get to George Lara's comment, and he says, if we're in a relationship and one of us wants to stay friends with an ex, if we are on the same page, we can let it rock. But it all depends on the foundation of what we have built.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
And
I
actually,
have.
George is we go back to diapers, George and I. Just say. Okay.
So I have been in a relationship where the man did not want me to have any other male friends, and or made me cut off all relationships with, like, other friends of my past, which is not okay, ladies. That's not okay. Just saying. But back then, I was 18. I didn't know any better. I thought, well, I love this person, so I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be with this person, and show that person that I'm 100% committed. And if this is what it takes, then this is what I have to do, which is the wrong way of thinking, because somebody that controlling and that, like, has that mentality, like, oh, I can have you, nobody else can have your attention, or male, female, whatever. But that is not okay, and that's like a huge red flag. So.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100% to that
Yeah,
it
and
is
so
very
does
controlling.
George.
Yeah, it is.
George
It is
is
controlling. But you get
not
to a certain
helping.
point, though, if they jump into something, like we're in a relationship and they have insecurities from the start, they already have like someone who screwed them over in the past, right? And they come into it with, they don't trust you, they think you're cheating on them, you can't even go to the grocery store without them going, where are you? Why aren't you back yet? Then
Exactly.
if they don't get past that after you've proven numerous times you're not lying, you're not doing this, if they can't get past that, then you guys are not going to last. That's when that's when I would be like, listen, man, you just can't get past it.
So
But
I know what your name is there, but Mike, because I know you. What you mean by really? I want to know, because you usually got
Really?
some gems. Let me know what you mean by really. Elaborate.
Or, like, maybe he agrees. Maybe he's like,
I don't
really?
know. I don't know. This is Mike. I don't
you'd
know.
be saying, really?
We gotta
I know.
wait to see what he says. I've known him for years too, so it all depends. And all platonic. See, a lot of these guys that are here, I've had platonic friendships with them. But now, getting back to, am I friends with a lot of my exes? Yes. Now, with that said, right? And I'm gonna be honest, because I keep it 100 all the time. If I'm not in a relationship and I'm friends with my ex,
You're pausing.
it has happened. It has happened because
I
I'm
knew you
free.
were going to say that. I knew
There's
it.
ex, and it's a familiar thing, right? It's a
Right.
known thing. It's a familiar thing. It's comfortable. You kind of just go, well, I'm not getting hit off, and
Yeah.
I'm not really trying to get back into a serious relationship. But so you have to be honest with yourself. Like, are you truly just friends, or are you there to hold on
Backup plan.
to that.
But
Exactly. You're my
but I have a
rebound.
question. I have a question for you though. Say, okay, you're friends with your ex for a long time. You guys smash every now and then throughout the years when you're bored or whatever. And then you're with somebody, okay? You become friend or you become in a relationship. So would you introduce your new man to your friend, your ex,
Don't
your
ask me that
the guy
question.
that you hang out
Don't ask me that question. Don't ask me that question.
be like, hey, this is just my friend, even though we like smash
Don't
like
ask me that question. Have I done that? Yes. Is it usually with someone that I think the relationship's going to turn out to be something? No.
okay, just out of
If they're
respect
not
for that
important to
person.
me, like if I think it's just I'm dating and whatever, then that's yes. But if I think this is going to be a long term something, no, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, but
Mr. Mr.
you would still tell that the person that you were with about your friendship.
What did Charles say there? What did Mr. Flip say?
Put
Moving
your glasses
on.
on.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, because we're gonna skip that question, Lady E, and we're gonna go on to. So, do you think it's right to have that kind of double standard? Absolutely not. Absolutely, I do not think it's right to have that double standard. The problem is, I'm a very emotional human being. So, if I'm really feeling you, if I'm really, really feeling you, it's that fear that I'm gonna lose you to someone else,
But they have that
and
too.
but I don't feel because I feel like I'm loyal.
You know
I guess
yourself.
yeah, I know myself. I don't know them.
Hmm.
So that's why I think the double standard comes into play because I know that I wouldn't do that to them, but I don't know that they wouldn't do that to me because we're not really clear on where things are, right? So, but I'm gonna act like I don't care. I'm just saying because that's what we do. We act
We
like we
even
don't
have
care.
the opposite, where like I'm like super introverted. I don't make a lot of friends unless I'm working with you or I knew you my whole life. And my husband meets everybody, networks with everybody, and he's gonna have more friends that are girls. And it's not that weird because he literally makes friends everywhere. So
we're just going through the comments now. George, what's that for?
We're,
What's that
we're
for?
listening to you. We're listening to you.
no,
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, Miss Spitter, because you know, the mainly friends that I meet are at work because I don't really like go out to do anything or meet people or whatever. And the people that you meet when you do go out, it's usually like you talk to them that night and then like that's it. You know, you when you're at work and or you're like part of a function or a sporting
yeah,
thing or whatever, then you make friends or like the gym or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's like you don't really you meet people, but you don't like become like close friends unless you're hanging out with those people like
And
You're
every day.
mandated. You're mandated to spend time with them.
Yeah, like I'm getting paid to talk to you.
I'm gonna see you every day at this time
Yeah.
for 1 week, so we are
My
going to be
husband
friends.
knows all of our neighbors all the way up and down the street. He's friends with them. He knows their life story. He makes friends at the grocery store, at the vape shop.
Oh,
He makes friends with my friends. Like he just can't stop talking to people. So
and that's why he's on clock watch.
yeah,
That is so awesome. And then you become friends with the people that he's friends with, and that's great.
yeah, that's really cool of you.
Yeah.
So Mr. Clips, while you're watching, what do you think about my answer to your question? Let
Oh,
me know.
boy.
Like, I'm not
you
saying
know you're
that
wrong.
I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, right? But I'm saying it's how I feel. So let me know what you think about that.
He will.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
waiting. But
he
I'm being
will.
100, right? I'm being honest with how I'm
You
feeling.
said that. You started by saying it's a double standard, and you know that it is, but it's really kind of not though because we know ourselves
Yeah.
Right.
to an extent. To an extent, I mean, we know ourselves, but like, what is that? I can't. I have my
Whatever,
glasses
Black.
on.
Oh my God, Black.
I don't
But
know yet, man.
Listen, but you understand that it's his personality, and you're good with that, Miss Spitter, right? You understand that that's how Mr.
And
Spitter is.
He's an
Chrissy, your
extrovert.
personality is the same way, so you're gonna
Yeah,
make friends no matter what.
yeah, yeah. And
So
I'll be honest with you. I do think, like what we were talking about, can you be friends with the opposite sex, right? I do think it's where you establish that friendship. Where did that friendship originate from, right? Was it a coworker? Did you meet at a family gathering and a friend brought a, one of your family members brought a friend? Did you meet at, a church event? Like, where was the foundation of that friendship that began? Was it in a bar, right? Were you at the nightclub and that's how y'all exchange numbers? So, right? So y'all exchange numbers, y'all talk for a little bit. You're not really feeling the other person, whether it's the male or the female, but you know so I'm just gonna say it like this. The female's not feeling the male, right? But you know the male's feeling the female. That friendship isn't really gonna be a friendship because there's still always gonna be that ulterior motive because that male is gonna always keep trying to attain the goal of her.
Always. Always.
yeah,
So
that's exactly what I was.
Always.
Yep.
There's always a motive and it doesn't go away. And if
so
it does go away, they stop being your friend.
yeah.
All of a sudden
Or
you don't
maybe,
exist.
I mean, maybe they give up and they realize like, okay, maybe I'm not this person's type because if you're friends with the person, I would talk to my male friends about, guys that I've dated or guys that I'm like dating presently, and then they'll be like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like I'm not getting any kind of vibes from her. I'm not like, I'm not her type or whatever they would say. And then most of them would be like, okay, like maybe I'll still be your friend. But some of them are like,
Okay, but okay, so you and I hang out with more guys than we do females, right? So
I think we
we're
all do.
okay, we all do. Okay. So
Mhm.
we know how men talk. We're in it and we listen to it and we're like, okay, I can see that. I can see that
yeah,
it's frustrating. We're totally okay. And then like we've heard the most foul things that they've said, and we're just like, yeah, all right, that makes sense. But so then how do you expect us not to take that into consideration? You know what I mean? Like we know how you think. We know that you're not
exactly.
I
That's
can't read
that's
that.
why that's why I like to hang around males more because I learn how they think, and I can use that
Yeah.
in my own relationships.
Yes,
So
exactly.
Charles King Clips, I think it's cool that you own it, but probably something you should work on. At the same time, I know how hard it is just to trust,
Hmm.
but it's also but it's a lot easier to not worry and let your other be friends with whoever they want. And if they mess up, that's just on them.
Good
Very
point.
true.
I get that. Okay. Okay. I
Good point.
He said
receive. I pick up what you're putting down.
he
I
Uh,
know
said that
it's
though.
something I gotta work
right
on.
there, right there.
I accept it. I will take it. But I'm still gonna keep my double standard for right now. So
But you said that though. We said as soon as
yeah,
we catch you in one small thing or
it's like,
anything,
what do you do? Yeah.
yeah,
So
you're then
Mickey says you definitely don't know how I think. Oh, I'm thinking when he says we know how men think.
oh, okay.
When we make a statement, we generalize here, right? So if you're the exception to the rule, don't take it personal. But
Right.
thank you for the
Right.
feedback. And that was to Montana. We knew that.
No, I do. Trust me. I know exactly how some of you guys think. Okay.
Let me ask a follow-up question.
And I know the other side too, though. So
Oh
I have
yeah.
spectrums. I know how this goes and I know how that goes. So
So
Right.
I have a follow-up question to this, right? It just kind of popped up to my head. Have any of you let go of a good, because we're all women here, a good male friend for a partner and then regretted it?
Um,
No.
no,
Interesting question.
I haven't. Have you, Chrissy?
I will elaborate. I fortunately did not lose him as a friend, thank God. This is my male friend, and I'll say his name, Anthony, of 35 years. I was dating a guy. that was a control freak. Like, and this I was a lot younger. Control freak. He didn't want me with any of my female friends. He didn't want me with any of my male friends. And one day, Anthony was over hanging out with me, and this guy came to visit and actually told me to tell Anthony to leave. He was like, "You need to tell him to leave, and if you don't tell him to leave, it's over." So me thinking that, oh, I'm in love, da 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 da, right? I
Mhm.
asked Anthony to leave, and Anthony was like, "Are you sure? Like, are you serious? Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I need you to leave." And that relationship lasted, but like maybe 2 more weeks after that. And I had a lot of apology to give. And I thank God that He is truly a true friend to me because He stuck by me even after that. You know, let me live it down. He will still remind me about that shit. But like, do you remember the day y'all kicked me out? but but I regretted that, and that makes me, you know, so there's certain friendships that are very close and near and dear to my heart, and almost like a brotherhood, like, like they're my brothers, that I
Mhm.
would really have to seriously sit down and think, if my partner didn't want me with this friend, what's the issue? Is he afraid that my friend of this many years is going to discover something about him that's, you know, you know,
Mm.
that a man can pick up from another man that a woman might miss,
Oh.
That's interesting.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always thinking.
Yeah, you are. You are.
All right, George, here's your problem from a guy's point of view. Let's go. I hope you're still typing. All right,
Let's
because we're gonna
hear
wait.
this. Let's hear our problem.
I want to see what the problem is. But
Yes.
but I think you have to evaluate what's more important, right? The friendship or your relationship. Where's your relationship going? Is this someone you think you're going to end up ultimately marrying, or is this just a fly by night kind of guy?
It's
You
hard when
know?
you're. It's hard when you're
So,
blinded. You know.
Yeah.
but so to answer your question, I think I did. So before I got married, I was moving out of state because he was in the military, and I was really good friends with one of my exes, and I think I purposely picked fights or like tried to distance the person because I knew I wasn't going to be in the state. I was trying to start over fresh. It was a new relationship, a marriage, and I was like 100% committed, and I didn't want any distractions or anything. And I mean, he was an ex, and he was a really good friend. So I think I purposely, like subconsciously, I didn't realize it at the time, but now that I look back at it, I'm like, I think I did this just because of to respect the new relationship that I was in, or just to start fresh and start new. And then after my divorce, we got connected again, and we talked about it, and he totally understood everything. He didn't hold anything against me, and I feel like that's a really good friend. And for a friend to
Yeah.
do that, to not be pissed off because of my new relationship, but I mean,
So let's see
yeah.
where George at. Oh, you go ahead.
I kind of have a spin-off question then. So if you have a guy friend and he gets into a relationship and is like, I can't be friends with you anymore, then they break up 6 months later, are you going to be like, I get it, and go back to being friends with him?
Yes.
Yeah,
Probably.
because we
Yes.
do get it.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, I would. I'd be like, all right, man,
Yeah.
just don't cut
Whatever.
me
Like
off like
next
that. Just
time, listen.
stop. Tell
Next
me
time,
you're
be with the pussy
busy.
a little bit longer
Yeah.
before you cut me off. All right. Make sure it's the real good stuff and not just the,
I'll
You're
fight
right.
over
like,
here.
So George asked, so would you consider dating a good friend if you both became single? And my answer to that, before any of the ladies go there, is there has to be romantic chemistry. If you were just good friends, then there was no ulterior motive. Was the ulterior, was that, were the emotions always there, and you guys just kind of, or are you just saying, because we're best friends and you should be with your best friend. Like, I mean, I need a little more than that. Was one person into the relationship and the other one wasn't? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying no, but then that would mean that I had romantic feelings for them previous or during the relationship, but during the friendship. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
That's my
I,
take on
I I agree with that one because there has to be some kind of romantic chemistry,
Something. There's got to be
sexual
something there. Yeah,
chemistry, but like, is that really like a friendship though?
exactly. So no,
Because
that's a
yeah,
hell no. That's a hell no.
if
You just,
you
it.
just because like one person feels a certain way, maybe the other person doesn't.
mhm.
Like you can't, and then just like that song, what I forget what it is, but it's like, we're
Right.
friends. Like, don't ruin it. Don't ruin our friendship because you have feelings for me. I don't. So
But then that's hard because the person who has the feelings is gonna try to keep their emotions at bay, and they can't. Like it's an emotion, and emotions are real and raw. So
right.
unless, so then either the friendship ends or a relationship comes out of it. I feel like it's one or the other, and there's
But
no
then
in
one
between.
one person's gonna get hurt if one person is not feeling the same way. You're gonna get hurt on that if you're like shut down. And like,
Right.
how can you still be friends after that? Like, how
So
can you still go on with your friendship? And there's always gonna be like that tension
mhm.
and like, oh, he wants something more than from me, and I'm not, you know. Then they're like constantly thinking about it too when they hang out with each other. They're like,
Mhm.
That's how my
Would it?
husband and I got together. When I told you we were best friends, because there was a motive. There was a motive there. That's how that happened when we were 21. There was a motive there. On
Yeah.
both, obviously on both sides for whatever reason. But no, if he was really someone that was just like my friend that I didn't have anything for, no, I would never contemplate being like, oh well, I'm single, so you want to hook up? No.
Yeah.
My what if is like, what if you friend zoned each other in your 20s and now it's 10 years later and you find like the older, mature person to be attractive now out of nowhere? All of a sudden, you're just like, hey, you know what? My
That's a
priorities
good
changed.
point.
You've grown up.
I
Like,
think that could happen.
That's a
yeah,
good point.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that could definitely happen.
it does. It
So
could.
yeah. So I think that can lead us into our next, right? Would that be a deal breaker? So what are some deal breakers in relationships? Like, and you guys, I need you to chime in here. Like, I seriously need you to chime in because you're gonna hear all the same thing from the women what our deal breakers are. But I
Yeah.
need some serious, serious answers from you guys out there. What
And
are some deal
and
breakers in relationships?
and we are definitely going to challenge you on this too. We are going to ask questions on your deal breakers, so we want to know exactly what they are. Yes. Where did
So
my go?
I'm bringing
Sorry,
her
sorry,
back.
sorry.
Oh,
No,
okay.
she
Sorry,
is
sorry.
yeah. Oh, here we got one. Opiate abuse.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I
That
think we
got
can all agree on that. Yep.
escalated
I mean,
quickly.
I think any drug abuse
yeah. It's
is
going to lead to more deal breakers if you're using drugs. You're going to be doing something else stupid.
Right,
exactly. Yes.
right.
That's
I,
a
So
very
Matt,
good one, Nikki. Thank you.
I kind of disagree
Oh, you
go,
disagree?
a little bit.
go ahead, Montana.
I don't think
Can't
that.
see.
What's that?
I can't see you.
You can't.
I can see her.
You
You
can
can
see
see
her?
her. Yeah.
I can't. This is black.
I'm very tan.
You
Oh, you're
can
like
see
black,
her.
like black.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I
Sorry, go
disagree
ahead.
because I think that someone who has a substance abuse problem shouldn't be excluded out of a relationship, or they're not worthy to be in a relationship just because they have a problem. And if it becomes a problem later on, if I'm trying to help you and like later on down the road it turns to abuse or it turns to something, then yes. But to just go, oh, you're into that, I'm not, like, no, I don't particularly partake in that, but I'll get you help. Like, as like you start with being friends, right?
If they don't want help, that's, they want to be an addict. That's their thing. They're just going to do it.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of them, and I have I have a soft spot, I guess, for that type of.
Montana, I'm gonna pull you out real quick because they're saying they can't see you. Let me pull you out,
No,
and
I
then I'm
can,
gonna
I
pull
can
you back
see her.
in.
I can see her now. I can see
You
her
can see her
now.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No
Good.
one,
Okay.
no one needs to see me. I'm good.
Yeah, you pop back up like automatically. You're just there, like.
All right. So not trustworthy. Dustin Whitecoff says not trustworthy, and I think for me that's number one.
Yeah, the person are
Lie.
lying. Hmm.
I think there's a lot that I can take. And I'm gonna tell my story at the end. I did take back someone who cheated on me, and it was a whole big thing. Um, it was in depth. It was very in depth what occurred. But the lying is a huge deal breaker for me, especially when you don't have to lie
Right.
and you decide to lie.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna let the other ladies go ahead. But let's see this. Just don't lie to me. I could do it. Look, gas, Jim.
Yes.
Jim, I'm Chrissy.
Andy.
Nice to
Yeah.
meet you, Jim. All right. Let's see. We got some more comments. They're definitely worthy. I've been through it myself and been exposed to a lot of people in the world. I'm just not interested myself.
Of course you're not, and you don't want that around your kids. I'm not saying you're interested in it, but just to say, if someone came out to you and that like you're with them, and then you find out they have some sort of addiction, you're not going to go next. You know, I mean,
I think it's different if you're in the relationship and then something traumatic happens,
yeah, I agree.
or like they become addicted. Like you can get into an accident and become addicted to opiates, and and you're already like 10 years in the relationship. Are you just gonna leave that person because they became addicted? No, you're going to stand by that person. You're going to get them help.
Right.
You're going to do what needs to be done to help the person. So it all depends on the situation, how long you guys been together, the love that's there, the trust, how open they are about their addiction. You know,
That's much more articulately put. That's what I was getting at. It
Okay,
depends on that.
Facebook user, who are you? On top of the podcast, you want to hit your StreamYard privacy settings and allotments so that we can see who you are. But who are you referring to as having a permanent booty call? I don't recall anybody saying that unless we
I
know some
think
insider
I think
information that we don't
I
know.
think talking about you, Chrissy,
I
because
think you might have said
like,
that.
Me?
I love you, but I think you might have
yes,
said something like
I
yeah,
that.
said a permanent booty call. I said that?
with your ex that was like, yeah, I still smash every now and
That's
then.
not permanent. That's intermittent. It's the difference.
But technically
Situational.
you're not, but technically you're not lying because if you're in a serious committed relationship, you wouldn't do that.
Right.
And you're not, you're going
He's
to
the
do
in
whatever you want.
between.
Right.
He's the
Exactly.
intermittent.
Exactly.
The okay, nobody else is here,
Because we're
kind of.
human, we are human beings and we need to have sex. Simple as that. And I mean, a dildo and a vibrator just doesn't cut it sometimes, okay?
Exactly. But George says lying, dishonesty, shadiness, that's what those first couple of months are all about, getting to know the person, seeing what they're all about and how they move. Absolutely.
Right.
And my baby daddy, no, my baby daddy and I are just friends. He is married and we are completely just friends and we never resurfaced any of that. Like we are completely, it's not him. Wrong guess.
It's a different X. It's a different
It's a different act.
X.
George says, if you meet him or her in the first few weeks and find out the substance abuse, yeah, you keep it moving. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you're
Yeah.
not
Silence.
100% committed in a couple of weeks. No.
No, I'm just saying.
I would still care about that person, and I would want to, just because I have like a very I have a very like fixing characteristic about me. I want to fix people. I want to make them better. And I would care a lot about that person and wanting to get them help. But as far as being with that person, no. I probably wouldn't, just because um, I have children and I can't do it. But go ahead, it's better.
So TJ and I have been together for 16 years. He's been in recovery for
Shut
10.
up. Sorry.
So
not,
he had
not
a
you.
problem while we were together. He didn't have a problem when we met that I knew of. It escalated over the years. It became a problem, but I did break up with him, and that's part of the reason he's going to help. Because you can't, if you stay, you're very tempted to enable.
Yeah.
So I agree. You should leave, even if you love them.
Yeah.
I don't do the drugs. I don't do the alcohol. I'm sorry. So for me, it comes from a very raw, real place. I grew up with both my parents addicted to um, drugs, and I that's one of my other deal breakers besides lying is any drug or alcohol abuse. I dated a guy once, really nice guy, but I cut it off very early in the relationship, in the dating part of it, because he enjoyed alcohol just a little bit too much for me, and it cut too close to home. And that was not something I wanted to relive. I wasn't capable of helping someone to their recovery. I wasn't, because of what I saw at home, and it wasn't a relationship for me.
No one really is capable of helping another person through it. Like, anybody that thinks so is just gonna just drive themselves crazy.
True, but you had the willpower. You stood there and you stood by his side, but
he
it
had
was
the willpower. He had the willpower.
true.
She stood by him. Yeah.
But I'm sure if TJ chimed in, her love assisted in that.
Right. Right.
I don't know that I could love somebody.
Motivate. Her love
I don't know that I
motivated
could.
him.
And I'm being honest. I just don't know that I could, because of what I saw growing up.
Right. I
You
get
know,
that.
it was too personal. It was too much for me, and I just didn't. I wanted none of it. And the minute I caught a whiff of it, I was done.
Out.
And
Yep.
even just alcohol, like which is legal, it was just that's it for me. Like,
I mean,
I didn't want any parts of it.
It depends on the situation and your upbringing too. Like what you were saying, like you're not going to tolerate it just because it was in your household. You grew up with that, so that's something that you will just definitely not tolerate. But I completely respect and adore Miss Spitter for doing what you did and sticking by him. And you guys, your relationship, the way he talks about you is amazing. And like just for you being you and giving him what he needs and what you need and putting your foot down, in that situation and telling him, look, I'm not going to tolerate this. So, and he did what he needed to do because he really, really loved you and really wanted to be with you. And I think that's an amazing thing, an amazing quality in a person. And now he is helping so many other people. He's using that. So I love that. I love that story.
Listen, when I talk about love, when I say kind of relationship I want, I'm telling you, I always say I want that TJ and Miss Spitter love. Like, they are an example of what the kind of relationship I want. And I keep it real. And I've told Jack, I've told Miss Spitter this plenty of times. Like, they are the epitome of the relationship that I want. And now that I know it's not stress free. I know TJ, right? So, I know it's not all easy, but it's amazing the relationship you see between the both of them. So I'm just gonna be George real quick. If you're with them a couple of months or something like that, you try to help them out, but the moment you see that they don't want the help, then you got to get up and leave.
Right. Yeah. If they don't do anything to work towards the goal of getting better, then it's like what do you can't force somebody to want to be better or to change. So if they don't want it and they're showing that they don't want it, their actions have to match their words. And if their words don't match their actions, then I'll pray for you all I can, but I have my own life to deal with. I have my own struggles. Gotta keep it moving.
So, Facebook user, if you accept the terms to StreamYard, we can see who you are. It should be right above the pod link. Is this for women or is it? No, we want a male point of view. If you are male, please chime in. We want this to be all inclusive. The reason we're just, doing the whole female panel just so that you can have the female perspective and not have all the, you know, our regular guys chiming in and cutting us off like they like to do. So that's why all the women are here together. It's just the ladies' night, but we welcome the men to join the ladies' night. So absolutely, please chime in. Let us know what you're thinking, your opinion, disagree, agree, whatever it is. We're all here for open dialogue and conversation.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe we're giving you a little insight into females' minds, so you can use that in your own personal lives. So.
Right, absolutely. So I'm gonna tell my story, but I want Miss Spitter to tell us what her deal breaker is.
So
Is there one?
At my point, at where I'm at my relationship now, deal breakers got to be cute. You know what I mean? We have a lot of history. We have a lot of our lives are like this. Deal breakers would be, affairs, abuse, some wildly I can't live with it type of thing. But in the beginning, all those years ago when I was dating, red flags right in the beginning were deal breakers. In the beginning, it's so easy to cut somebody off if you know it's not going to go well. But at this point, it would be, abuse, mental, physical, whatever, something that's, hurting me. An affair, some sort of crazy, heinous crime, like he's out murdering people and robbing banks,
Yeah, you wouldn't hold him down? You wouldn't carry the money for him?
You wouldn't go.
I'm not down with it.
You wouldn't go bury a body with him? Like, come on.
I'll bring the bleach, babe.
Like, babe, I did something really horrible. Let's go. Okay, you have to help me.
So, going back to this really quick, are we talking about active use or in recovery? I think it's active use. I think if you're already meeting them in recovery, I think if I understand correctly, anyone who's in recovery really shouldn't be seeking relationships anyway because they need to work on themselves. Yeah. So if they're 1 year post recovery, I think that's an open conversation. But if there are, less than that year mark, definitely they need to continue working on themselves. George says exactly. They're laughing.
Of course he's laughing.
Exactly. You're supposed to be his body. I got the shovel, babe. Get the concrete. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I tell him all the time, I'm not going to bail you out. You don't think I'm going to.
No, don't even tell me about it. La, 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 la.
Yeah. That's
so our guy has been Philip McDevitt, who has been commenting. Thank you for chiming in, Philip. I appreciate that. Keep it coming. So what about you, Montana? What's your deal breaker?
In the beginning?
Because you're right. You were saying there's kind of phases to this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say lying. As soon as I catch you in a lie, I can't. It's too much because that shit escalates real quick.
Yeah.
But once you're in a relationship, a deal breaker would be like, I don't even know. Like when you're really in it and you're really like in it, it takes a lot.
Would you accept an affair?
If he went to counseling and if I actually saw a contrite attitude, yes. Like if he really was like, I was going through something, you weren't there for me, and he really like, if I really felt that, like he really meant that, then yeah. And we both went to counseling, I think I'd be like, okay, well, why? But if it was just like, well, you stopped putting out or something, then no. But I wouldn't. It's not that I'm accepting it. It's just I would be understanding, and it'd probably fade off into like a more of a friendship at that point, and like a co-parenting thing. Than it would turn into me really truly getting over it. Because I like Lady E said, like I'm the same way. I have to fix people, and when I see someone broken in front of me, it hurts, and I want to help, and I want to make them better, but I always add on to my shoulders by helping and making, like accepting people for who they are, when it sucks for me. I mean, it really hurts and it sucks, but that's my problem, and I have to learn to get over that. But
because it's more of like a psychological thing, and you want to know like what got them to that point, or
right.
if I mean
Shut up.
maybe you didn't do anything to cause that, or maybe it's like in his head, or he doesn't have a need that's being fulfilled at the time, but it's not.
I'm gonna give you this.
But men don't communicate very
No,
well
they
as
do
much.
not.
Like even women don't either. So
I'm
if
gonna
there's
flip this. I'm gonna flip this, and I'm gonna jump in real quick, and I'm gonna flip this. And I asked that question because I was the person who had the affair in the marriage. Okay.
Deets.
Yes, I will go into details. So in my first and I'm honest and I'm open about this, and I don't, say I won't make any gripes about it. I fucked up. But there's a little background story to this. We were actually split for about 30 days. What happened was he had physically assaulted me. Him and I had gotten into a big argument. He put me in a chokehold. Um, I told him he had to get out. He had to leave. Um, that he couldn't stay there anymore because physical abuse was something else I saw in my house growing up, and that's just not something that I was going to tolerate, was him putting his hands on me. I never had a man put his hands on me. And during that 30-day period where he was out of the house, I kind of ran into an ex, and we hooked up. My husband at the time decided that we were going to reconcile, right? And the one thing was counseling. We had to do counseling, right? Because there was obviously issues on both ends. I was not faithful to my marriage, despite the fact, and I'm not even going to sugarcoat it and say we were on a break for 30 days. Like, I'm not going to be like, well, we were on a break for 30 days because he put his hands on me. Like, that's not an excuse. I was still married to the man, right?
Entanglement.
Yeah, it was an entanglement. I had an entanglement. But he forgave me, but the relationship was never the same after
it's
that.
Never the same.
The trust wasn't the same, right? The trust was not there, and our issues became bigger after that. And it just wasn't the infidelity. It was every little thing was magnified by 10 because of that one thing that I had did. So he took me back. He took me back. That wasn't a deal breaker for him. But again, it wasn't something that was able to be repaired. We just kind of spiraled downhill from there. And that's just one of my stories. So I want to show you guys that I will be honest and open about who I am. I know I fucked up. I know what I did was wrong. And in my second marriage, I remained completely faithful. And that story I won't tell. But let me tell y'all, it was completely faithful, because I knew what I did wrong in my first marriage, and I didn't want to repeat that mistake. So I'm gonna let Lady E go, and then I'll tell you my crazy story.
Oh, someone said lies.
I just think they don't like liars. I think that's what they mean.
Okay, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Oh no, sucia. Who you call me sucia?
Who's sucia?
Carajo. Yeah.
So my what was it again?
Your deal breaker.
Oh yes, my deal breakers are lying, of course, and if they don't like kids. Like that's like the beginning of the relationship. Like if they don't like kids, don't want to have anything to do with kids, I'm like, okay, well, maybe my life and being with me is not for you because I have children and I
Right.
do a lot of family things together. So, yeah, it's just not going to work. And that's one of the main things that I bring up, like right when I talk to somebody or try to date somebody. It's like, look, this is my life, my lifestyle. I have children. I can't, you know, do
As
whatever you guys want to do because of
right.
kids. I mean,
I was
and
gonna
if,
say the same thing. That's a big
yeah,
deal
and
breaker too. Yeah.
yeah, and if they don't understand that, then they are not the ones for me.
No,
So if I
congrats.
was gonna date somebody, they would definitely have to have kids from previous relationships because I think men that I have dated in the past that don't have kids don't really understand what it takes to be a parent. And like my ex-husband, he didn't have kids. And I don't really think that he understood what it took, to have children and be in like active with them every single day, and it takes a toll on people if they're not used to it already. So that's that is my main deal breaker.
That's a good
Or
point. That's a good
or
point. I was gonna say
if
that.
also you need to have goals. Have goals in your life. Like it doesn't matter, what the goals are, as long as you have goals and you're like determined to reach those goals. Like I need determination. I need like, you know, for you to like build something and have motivation and with your life. You can't
Not
just
be a bum. Not be a
Huh?
Ambition.
bum.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I need that. So those are my deal breakers.
Ah,
What
I
the
already
shit is
know.
that?
I know who
What?
this is. I don't know if you want me to say who you are.
Deal breaker was
What's
him putting
your
his
name?
hand on me, so I stabbed him from his ankle to his neck with a fork and then sat back down to continue to eat my food with the same fork.
Can I just tell you that is a family member of mine? That is a family member of mine, and I don't
Oh
know his
my God.
Is that on
Oh
Netflix
my
yet?
God. I need to meet this person. Like,
Yeah, it's a
I
family
need to
member
know
of
who that
mine.
is.
I need to meet this
You know
person.
who that is, Miss Bitter. You know.
Who is that?
Tell
What?
me, tell me if you want me to say your name, and I'll say your name. But that is a family member.
Is that legit? That's real?
That's legit. Yes, that's what they did.
I gotta guess, but I don't know for sure.
You're
That
probably
is
right,
some
Miss Bitter.
crazy shit. That is some crazy shit. Like
Blood,
that's
blood relation. So, she said, go ahead. That's my sister Keisha.
Nice. That's some Netflix stuff right there. That is.
She
oh
is.
my God. I need
And
to hear
y'all
the
thought I
story.
was crazy. Y'all thought I was crazy.
No, I need to hear this story. Like I need to know. I need to meet her and know this story. Like
Maybe we'll get her on one day because it'll be a little
yes,
crazy that day.
yes.
Michael says tenacity. Absolutely. Anyone who
Mhm.
procrastinates and doesn't get their shit done, absolutely.
Right.
So, listen, George said your older sister, Chris. Yes, George, you had it right. Like I said, George and I go back to diapers, so he knows the whole family. Yes,
So hold
she
on.
is gangster.
Is the guy alive though?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he
okay.
Fork.
alive.
It was just a fork. It's a fork. Like he's fine. He's good.
Yeah,
He has a
He's
couple
fine.
scars. Whatever.
yep.
He's fine.
It's a
It
flesh
was a
wound.
fork. It was a fork.
Kid you not, it was kind of like she's a little loca, but George said, I'm still scared of her.
You should be.
Yo, Keith, you see this, right?
Me
George
too,
still
a
scared.
little bit, a little bit.
Wow, attempted murder out here. Have any of you ladies kill anyone? Not
Not yet.
Look, allegedly, we are not going to talk about that subject because we are not going to put ourselves in that situation.
Allegedly.
But women are a little petty, and we can do some things. So
Yeah.
watch your back.
So my deal breakers, obviously, I have said, is the lying, the drugs, and physical abuse. So those are like deal breakers. But
Yeah.
have I gone back to someone who's cheated on me? I have. I was dating a guy. So this is a crazy story. I was dating a guy, and he had a whole fiance I didn't know about. Whole fiance I didn't know about. I found out he had a fiance. I called, informed her of our relationship, and she still ended up deciding to marry him. Mind you, during their marriage, and this goes back to can you be friends with your exes in the opposite sex? So it's kind of intertwined here because I ended up getting a Facebook message from the wife saying, "Leave my husband alone. I don't want you to be friends with him." And my response to her was, "Well, then tell that to your husband because I don't owe you shit, bitch. My commitment is
Yeah.
not to you. Your husband's commitment is to you. And if he chooses to still have a relationship with me and not respect what you want, then that's a conversation you need to have with your husband, not with me.
Exactly.
Like I don't owe you anything, right?" So a couple of years down the line, they divorced. Couple of years down the line, I divorced, and we get back together.
Oh, this is where that story was going.
Oh,
Yeah. And we
juicy.
end up getting back together. But you know what I got to say about that? It's never the same because I would never be able to get into a committed relationship with this man because he lied to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what made me fall back into a relationship with him, but in the back of my head, I always knew it wasn't going anywhere because I wouldn't be able to trust him. But this has gone on for 20 years. So what does that say? Like, what is that? I'm asking y'all ladies, what is that?
That's something psychological with you,
Like a security blanket.
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, because
Guys, what do you think that is?
it's a familiar. You
Familiarity.
have a connection with him, whether it's on any kind of level. You have a connection with this person, and you feel comfortable with him. You may not trust him, but you feel comfortable with him, and it's a very psychological thing. Like he's fulfilling some kind of need that you wanted at the time or whatever it was.
But it's always at the end of a relationship. And whether it's like a month or two
Isn't it
and
a
then
coincidence or is it not? Because that always happens. Like when I'm single,
mhm.
somebody in my past pops up automatically that I've had some kind of connection with in the past.
It's
And
like they can smell the
yes,
pheromones. They're like,
yes. It's
she's
like they
single
have like
again.
this sixth sense, and you're like, what the fuck? Like as soon as like it could happen immediately. Like you'll get a text, you'll have a fight with your man, whatever, and you break up, and then like immediately after you'll get a text from like ex.
Yeah. I swear to God, it'd
Yeah,
be like within an hour or two. You're like, holy
yes,
shit. Like, do they send
yes,
out an SOS? Like, do you naturally just send out an SOS when some
right.
shit happens? Like, what the fuck?
There's some kind of vibes going out in your head and the universe and whatever happens, like it just like happens. It's unexplainable actually. Nobody
So,
knows.
the men that are watching, what is your take on that? What do you think that is? What do you think? Do you agree with Lady E? Do you think it's just kind of something that it's comfortable and familiar and you fall back into it? Or is there something else going on? Like
Because
from a girl's perspective.
you knew everything, like the history and all that stuff. You like and then you still got back with him. Maybe you thought he was changed. Maybe you thought that he would be a different person because he went through different experiences.
And we're
Maybe,
older now. This is 20 years of this, right?
yeah.
This
So
is
you
20
were
years.
hoping, maybe you were hoping that he had changed or growed up or whatever it was, and you're like, oh, maybe things will be different this time.
Can I pause?
Go.
Yeah.
Who stalks dudes on Facebook? Because I personally never understood that, and I don't do it.
Oh,
I don't stalk anybody on Facebook.
well,
No.
you're a whole nother beast. You're a whole nother animal in itself. Like, you know, a whole nother animal in itself.
I don't do that. I don't care.
I don't stalk people.
You don't?
If
I don't stalk, I investigate.
No, the only time I investigate is when somebody messaged me some crazy shit, whatever, or I see a post and that's like disturbing or whatever, then I'll be like, okay, like I need to see.
View Facebook profile and see what this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So,
but
Jim,
that's not stalking.
No,
Jim,
no.
when you say yes, it is, are you saying yes, it is familiarity, or yes, it is that I'm sending an SOS? I just want to know, right?
Yes, nah.
Now what?
Nah, what? Nah.
Just nah.
Just nah. Like,
And then
whatever.
George said he just meant in general. He wasn't saying to you, Montana, that, you know, that you stalk. So yes, it's the familiarity with the person, a comfortable rut. But
Yeah.
how do they know? But how do they know when you're in that rut?
Oh,
Like, how do y'all know?
it's the bat signal.
Stalking, like I said, stalking.
It goes back to the stalking. Oh, so they're stalk. Okay, okay. So they're stalking. But that's how they know.
On
They'll
another
make calls.
episode, I heard Black say this. Black said, "Oh, I watch their statuses and see if they're having trouble in their relationships." You remember
Yes,
that?
yes, yes. You are so right. Yes. Yep.
Wow.
And then he pounces. So it's all about what you put on your statuses or your posts, whatever. Because I know whenever I have problems with my exes or my relationships, whatever, I would post, some kind of quote saying talking about trust or whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden I get like a message from somebody like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? How you doing?" Like,
You know,
I don't
what
know.
is
You
it?
listen. You listen.
Listen.
Ooh, they're about to fry Earth.
Yes. Let's go, Earth. Let's go. Let's fry
they're
you.
just talking, and we're thinking it's the universe talking to us.
It's actually back Earth.
Earth talking to us.
It's the Earth. It's the Earth.
He's gonna
And
cut off
if he wants to comment, he needs to be more specific.
Specific. I know. I struggle with that one too.
Thank you. I could not get the word out.
So, people, we could just say goodbye. This might be our last podcast. I don't know if Black. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know, but we can definitely go ahead and talk about what does self-care look like when you're the one who is always taking care of everyone else.
Do you want to see what it looks like?
Yeah.
Star spangled pajamas.
Nice.
And you're lucky if I look like this one time out of a month. I was in the hospital with that child for like 3 or 4 days, and the nurse was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You really need to go. Like, you need to take a break." I'm like, "No, I'm okay." I'm like, "Do I look that bad? I'm okay." This is what self-care looks like.
I think
no, but it doesn't.
People who see women without makeup on, they automatically think that there's something wrong with them.
You're lazy or something, right?
Right. Like they're tired or they're just, something is going on in their lives where they just don't even care. I'm like, no, maybe I don't feel like wearing makeup today.
Right.
But they always want to judge you because of, how you're put together on that day. It's like, no, back off.
Every single day. You're supposed to be on every single day.
Yeah. It's like expected. Like, no.
No.
I get it. I totally get it. I was walking through Walmart and all I had on was mascara. Okay. At least I did something.
It's a lot more than me.
Guy, I had mascara on and like a tiny bit of eyeliner, and some guy was like, wow, you look really tired, but you look hot though. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, I'm like, what? Yeah, that's a great compliment to
It's a
get to a
really
woman.
backhanded compliment.
Yeah. So, would it look like to others or to you? Both. Kind of. I think we're kind of doing a little bit of self-reflection as being women on the panel and being mothers, and having that caretaker role. We're kind of self-reflecting on this one. But what does it look like to you? Or others. So, you can chime in. Mickey says sleep and hygiene. Absolutely. Because if you
Yeah.
stink and are tired, you're stinking tired, and I don't want you near me. Right?
Yeah,
So, nothing more beautiful than a natural face.
Aw.
that's cute.
Um, what? What's that? What? George, I'm
Oh,
gonna need you
so
to elaborate.
the guy that
Oh,
caught
the
it.
guy. Okay, okay, because
Yeah,
he's
he was a dick, and I kept it walking. I was like, and kept it walking. Like, wow,
so
that's
that. Miss Spitter, what about you? I know that since I know you personally, I know you carry a heavy load on your shoulders, and you make it look effortless.
Thank you.
You absolutely do. So, what does self care look like to you?
Um, it's honestly being selfish sometimes and being okay with that. Like saying, today I'm taking off of work and I'm sending the kids to school and I'm taking a nap and eating ice cream. Like whatever I need, I just feel like moms, partners, especially working moms, you have so many people taking. Like you have to take care of yourself the same way you take care of anybody else. So resting, going out with my girlfriends, going out by myself, buying myself that expensive face cream, going to the gym, something that benefits no one else but me. I make that a priority as much as I possibly can. And even though it's selfish, it's okay. And it's still, I think, in the long run, benefits all those people that I'm affecting. Because I'm happy and I'm willing to do more and want to, you know what I mean? Like, it overflows. So it's never a bad idea to just go ahead and be
So
selfish.
you say you try to do it as often as you can. What does that look like in a month?
At least once a week, I'm going to have a rest day. I think every human being should. I'm going to buy myself in a month, maybe one nice thing. Maybe like a pair of shoes I've been, stalking, or a skincare routine, or whatever. If it's been a month and I haven't bought myself anything that I really want, that's a good enough reason for me. And if I'm broke, it's going to be a trip to the dollar store. It doesn't matter, you know?
Something.
Yeah. And I have a daughter, and I think like Lady E was saying, her daughter confronted her about it, but someday her daughter's going to look back and say, my mom took care of herself, and I'm going to take care of myself, and I get it. So I think it teaches your kids, you know what I mean? Like, you have to love yourself to teach them how to love themselves, just by example. Um, it could literally be anything, whatever it is that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Make it a priority. Don't feel bad about it.
So
It doesn't have to benefit anybody.
no, you're right. So bouncing off of what you said, Miss Spitter. Um, my father used to say to me all the time, um, I have to take care of myself before I can take care of you because I can't take care of you if I don't take care of myself. And I never understood that as a child. And I always thought it was selfish of him. I was like, how selfish can you be? Your kids come first. You don't come first. Your kids come first. But now that I'm an adult and have experienced what it is to be mom, nurse, doctor, teacher, bus driver, grocery shopper, everything like under the sun, um, I realized what he meant. You have to take that time for yourself. What my self care looks like for me is the gym, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I like
going
that
to the gym
comment.
and make it, yeah. So Miss
Mhm.
Lee, I will not mess up your first name. You can't ease other people's thirst when your cup is empty,
Yeah,
and you're
it's so
absolutely
true.
right about that.
Mhm.
But like I was saying, the gym is the self care for me, and for a long time I didn't. For a long time, I didn't. I worked 2 jobs. I still work 2 jobs now, but they're a little bit more easier to juggle around. Um, but I would work. I mean, I was working a 15-hour job, going to nursing school full time. I was a wife. I was a mother. I was a sister. I was a daughter. I was an aunt. I was a niece. I mean, I was everything under the sun, and still taking care of this household. I had a child who had type 1 diabetes that I had to manage from 7 years old, now 20, about to be 20. And I put myself on the back burner for a long time. And
Mhm.
if any of you go to my page, there is a post where I was extremely large, way bigger than I am now. It was about 225 pounds. And that was the definition of not taking care of myself at all and putting everybody else before me. So the one thing I do is the gym and working out. And that comes before my kids. I don't care what that sounds like. That comes before my kids. That comes before work. That comes before um, cutting the grass, food shopping, taking out the garbage. I don't care. That grass is going to end up having to wait another day before I cut it, because I need to get in that gym and I need to do it for myself. And not only for that, but my health reasons as well. And I've learned to love myself better because of that, by putting a couple of those things. And I am a sneakerhead, so sneakers are, kind of, I do that thing too. But wait, George, go to sleep. No, keep watching. But I definitely feel like you have to take that time to put yourself first, because when you feel better about yourself, everything else kind of just follows along and puts you in a better place.
Yeah,
So
Yep.
that's my take on that.
I agree. Did everybody go, or who's
It's
Yeah,
your
it's you,
turn.
Lady E.
me? Okay.
Yeah.
So, when after I had my daughter, I moved back in with my mother, who her and I do not have like the best relationship. So at first, she was like, "Yeah, you can go out like once a week, whatever. I'll watch your baby for you, and all that stuff." And then all of a sudden, it was like, "No, you have a child now, so you don't have a social life. Like you are not allowed to do anything else but be with this child." So that took a like hit me hard. It was like, okay, I just have to focus on this child and nobody else. Can't even focus on myself or my mental. Like I was going to school full time, working full time, taking care of my child. It takes a toll on a person when they have no other outlet to turn to when it's just always go 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 go. And um, and then in my marriage, I had the same thing. I was working full time. I had a son. I had a daughter, um, and I, similar to what Chrissy was, I was overweight, and I was very, very unhappy with myself. I was insecure of myself, and I hit a point where I was like what I need to change something. I started getting health problems. I had to have surgery. I was going through a lot. I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and I was very unhappy with myself. So I'm like, I'm always taking care of the kids. I'm always taking care of the husband, the house, my job. I was working like 50 hours a week. And I had to self reflect. I had to look at myself and be like, what do I really want? Like, what is going to help me be a better mother? Because when I got home from work, I was useless. I was like, I can't do anything except go to sleep. Like, how am I good for my children? How am I good for my husband? How I'm not, because all I want to do is sit on the couch and watch TV, or all I want to do is go to sleep. And that is not a life to live. Like you can't just you know give and you have
Right.
nothing to receive.
You're running on E.
Right,
You're learning on
exactly.
me. But George
So
makes a good point here. He says our generations are different. We can't compare us to our parents because they were different times, different worlds. And I
exactly.
do think that. And I think looking back, right, it was definitely when our parents, or even maybe a little bit before that, but a single, it was a dual household, right? You had both parents in the
Right,
home, and it was usually one that was working and the other one that was home. So the duties were shared and split, right? Someone was taking care of the home and someone was out working, and that kind of took away some of the, because women now are moms and employees,
right.
right?
Yeah,
We're CEOs and executives and moms taking kids to soccer practice. Like
right.
we're doing so many more things. Now, guys, you're hearing this from us women. I want to know what self-care looks like for men. Black, you're a single dad. I hope you're still watching. Chime in. Tell us what it self-care looks like for you when you're taking care of these five beautiful babies. You
Right.
know, like
Exactly.
men, I
My,
need you to chime in.
my mom was a single mom of three kids. So growing up, I always saw her drive and her effort with her job and all this stuff. And, I didn't get a lot of like one-on-one time with my mom that I can remember. So, I mean, I try not to be that way with my kids, but, it happens because I'm a single mom now. And Um, I I work three jobs plus this podcast and our Facebook group, which is like another job. So basically, I work four jobs right now, and my kids are like, oh, like they give me the guilt trip all the time, like, oh, you don't spend enough time with us, you don't do this, you don't do that, and it's like, look, I'm trying to make our lives easier and better, and I'm like growing, and I try to explain that to them, but so back what I was saying, like I turned to the gym and my health and nutrition because I felt like not myself anymore because I've always been fit. I've always been healthy and my everything took a toll on myself, my body, whatever, all the life experiences that was happening in that moment. So I had to take a step back and you it's good when you have somebody there to support you. You can like take more time off of work or somebody to help you with the kids to focus on yourself more. And that's great. That's awesome if you have that and not everybody has that. So um, I lost like 30 pounds and I focused on myself and I did what I needed to do and it became a so much better life for me and my kids because I was happier, I was more confident, and I was doing things that I wanted to do and focus on myself. And I think that's very, very important, especially for a mother, single mother, or not a single mother. But we do a lot for our families, and I don't think a lot of people realize that or respect it, especially if you're not a single mother or father. So, uh,
But even if you have
right,
both parents in the house, at this point, both parents are out working.
Yeah.
right, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, both
So,
parents are out working, so it's almost if you're so my ex husband worked nights and I worked days, and it's like we were ships passing in the night,
yeah,
and but that was to get things done with the kids and get things done with the house and make sure that everything was tackled and we didn't have to get any outside help in to help. So even if you're not a single parent, we're having dual working parents in the home
right,
now.
yeah. That's definitely very true. But I mean, just like recently, when you know, a couple months ago, I stopped going to the gym. Well, mainly because of like COVID and all this stuff. Like they closed down the gyms, which was very disappointing. which I started working out at home. I had to do the things that I needed to do. I had the free time. So, you have to figure out different ways to, um, you know, focus on yourself and do the things that you enjoy doing, even if like the circumstances aren't the best. Like, yeah, I like going to the gym, but if I can't go to the gym because the gyms are shut down, you have to find something else to do to make it happen.
Right.
You can't just sit there and, wait or feel sorry for yourself. Like, you have to find something that you enjoy doing. If it's like one week or one day out of the
One of
week
the week, right.
to
Right.
do, then you need to do it. If it's 30 minutes a night or 30 minutes, like 30 minutes a night when the kids go to sleep or something. Like, find something that you really want to do, and take care of yourself. And
Yeah, we got some men chiming in now. So Spitter says fishing, yard work, hiking now. Yes, we need to put now in exclamation points. I find pretty therapeutic, and basketball, right? Then we got Mickey who says running clears the fuck out of my head. I get that. I get it. I know exactly what you mean. I throw my pods in, put my music on, and get them weights pumping, and I'm golden. Like I could clear my head like it's nobody's business.
right.
Black says travel, game nights, movie nights, family karaoke. But you know what, Black? That's what your kids. What do
Yeah,
you do for yourself without
right.
the kids? So you can love on yourself just a little bit. Do you do some bubble bath with some strawberries and champagne? Like I could just picture that. I could just picture you chilling in the tub with bubble bath. And I don't know. I could just see it in my head for some reason. But
Listening to some old school like love jams,
yep, that'll have to be a big tub though. But anyway, so he says, "Word." Mickey says, "Karaoke itself is such a release." Black, I don't even know that I want to put this comment up.
But drugs. Oh my God.
Z.
Lavender,
I mean,
everything. And we got self care for me would be doing what makes me happy, playing baseball, maybe a poker game with the boys, working out the gym for a couple of hours. And Black, that's what I'm talking about, DJing.
okay.
Did you mean DJing instead of drugs, or did you really mean drugs?
Yeah.
Like, oh
I
no.
think I meant drugs,
I don't know if
but
that was an autocorrect, but yeah, I think that's
So, I mean, essentially, I think it's really important, and I challenge everybody. You may think you're taking time for yourself, but I'm going to challenge everybody that's watching this podcast now and who will watch it later to take a 30-minute block. Start off slow. Take a 30-minute block out of your time and just decompress. I'm a hospice nurse and I see everything under the sun when I work. At the end of the day, I'm helping people transition to the end of life. Okay. And that's a whole nother job in itself. Um, I've learned not to take it home with me. But the one thing that I recognize that I do that I didn't acknowledge before is I take 10 minutes in that car before I step out of the car. And I never realized that. I literally park the car, sit there, turn it off, and I take about 10 minutes to myself and just whether it's scrolling on Facebook, smoking a cigarette. Yeah, I know I got to stop. Um, I recognize that I take those 10 minutes before I step out of the car and walk into my home because I want to leave everything that I've just felt and kind of processed in the car and leave it
yeah,
there
hmm
and
yeah,
walk away from it. So I challenge everybody to take 30 minutes. All right, maybe 30 minutes a lot. Take 15 minutes to literally decompress. Put the phone to the side, sit on your front step, sit on your front porch. When you come home from work, Don't rush into the house. It's going to be there. It's going to be there whether you walk in 15 minutes later or 15 minutes earlier. Okay? So
Right.
I absolutely challenge you guys to do that. We have some
But
more.
I want to say to the women and men out there who are single mothers, single fathers, or just anybody in particular, um, you, if you're not going to focus on
Oh
Oh,
no.
I think we got it stuck. So let's go through the.
you,
Oh, there you go. Okay.
you will like lose your
Shit.
shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
will, and that's not good for anybody. So you
No.
have to really be selfish. It's okay to be selfish.
Yeah.
That
So we're
word
gonna
has
go
a
through the
bag
few
stigma to
comments.
it,
Oh yeah.
right?
So also being able to spend time with my girlfriend, wife, no kids. Because at the end of the day, we are king to be together for what? George, stop
Going
telling me that shit and
Together
rewrite it.
for our lives. So I want to connect with you.
Okay. Then we got wind therapy. Just pick a direction, following the front of the wheel and chasing the sun on the bike. That's
A
yes,
nice
Jim.
ride is sometimes all you need.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
guess he's
tough.
talking about hospice. All three of y'all need to stop. Stop what? Smoking?
All three of
Oh,
y'all.
is
Well,
he
there's
talking
four
about
of us.
smoking? I know what you're talking about, George.
There's four of
Uh,
us.
same Christy. So Stephanie is works with me in hospice. So
Okay.
she's saying for the same, she sits in the car and she kind of decompresses and lets that yeah, I know you're typing too fast, or your brain is going too slow because of that shit you allegedly was smoking. Smoking.
Smoking.
Oh,
Yep.
we were talking about us smoking. Yeah, but what you smoke? So, but yeah, what were you gonna say, Montana? I'm sorry. Before we got into the comments,
Oh,
were you
which
gonna say
part?
something? I guess it's about the self care and decompressing and taking that time for yourself.
Oh, yeah, driving. I really agree with that. Driving for me, like just going and driving down back roads really helps me a lot more than I think people like take into credit. It's like it is really therapeutic to just
Yeah.
Right.
drive with
And
no
you got the
direction.
music going, and you're just like, yeah, and
There's no
yeah,
kids in the
You
back
know,
seat, nowhere to
you
go.
know,
You're just going.
what's therapeutic for me when I'm driving to or from work every day, because it's usually like a 30-minute drive, but playing music super loud and just
Hmm.
singing like so loud. Like I don't even care who hears me, who sees me. I'm just singing and I just basically yelling and singing just to get
Hmm.
it out. Like,
It doesn't
ugh.
even sound good. It doesn't even sound good. It
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
matter.
it sounds horrible, but I love doing it, and that's exactly the same thing that I did back when I was like in high school. I got
Hmm.
home from school early, and I would put my headphones on and just sing super loud, and nobody was in the house. I'm just like, ah, like, and it just let out all the frustration and the anger or whatever
Yep.
you're feeling at that time. So
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
helps me every day too. Just driving and singing.
Every day. Every single day. That's about
Yeah.
it.
so I feel like we all got a little something that we do. I think the one thing that Jackie forgot that she does is she sews all my shit whenever I need a hem. And
I
I feel
feel
like that's therapeutic for her. She is an amazing seamstress. Can I tell you, I needed a ball gown hem, a ball gown hem, and she hemmed this ball gown for me. Okay,
it's very zen. It's like, you focus so
You're
hard,
serious?
everything else.
You're serious? Because I suck at sewing and I have no idea how to do it. So you're gonna have to teach me because
Yeah, I
I'm
would love
awful.
to.
I'm awful at it.
she is amazing at it. Absolutely
You
amazing. And that's kind of a great segue into, can women really get along and build each other up? And I feel like I've been bigging Miss Spitter up all night. But you know
I know.
what? It's complete love and respect. And I would like to go first on this. And because this is near and dear to my heart, right? First of all, I want to applaud Miss Spitter because all of our topics were her ideas and thoughts. Okay. So
Yeah.
I want to give it up to her and tell her thank you very much. And definitely
You
thank you
guys
for
did do
being
great
on
with
the panel. You know,
Yes.
she did
Yeah.
amazing with it. Um, but I am one of those women that will sit back, and I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if we never got along. I don't care if you know, whatever the issue is. If I see you coming up and I see you glowing up and I see you doing your thing, I am there like, yes, sis, get it. Get it. I don't care how much hate you have in your heart for me. I'm always going to be applauding you and rooting you on from the back. And even if there's some dislike or disdain that I have for you, I'm never going to hate on your growth. I'm never going to hate on your growth. And I'm also one of them that when I see you up there, I'm going to ask you how you got up there and can you help me get up there with you? And then once I'm up there with you, I'm always going to look back and extend my hand to help the next one up. And I'm just built that way. I work with predominantly a heavy women population. It's nursing. And I can tell you that is not the case in my field at all. It is like cattiness all the time. It is the you know, the big hens eating their young. Um, there's always a competition of which nurse is better than the other nurse, and always somebody got somebody to say about something else. And well, I wouldn't have ran that IV that way, or I wouldn't have hung that like that. Oh, did she read the bottle? Did she double check the like? And there's always somebody
Mm-hmm.
talking about you behind your back. At least in the field that I work in, I don't know. Every lady on here is going to be able to speak their truth about this, but I see it. But let me tell you, I'm that nurse that if I feel like I can teach you something, I'm gonna go to you and be like, hey, listen, you know, I'm just coming to you because this is how I was taught, and I think it was a great experience for me. Let me share some of that wisdom with you. Here's what I learned. If I see when I'm in a nursing home and I see students in there learning, you'll see these other nurses be like, I don't got time to teach them. And I'm like, hey, you guys want to see something really cool? Let's go look at this colostomy. You know, and I'm taking them in the room and I'm showing them all these things and I'm telling them like, this is what you, oh, let me show you this trick. This is how you do it easier. And you'll find that some of these older nurses are like, I'm not going to give my skills away. I'm not going to teach them these little tricks. Like they'll just have to learn on their own. And it disgusts me to
Mm-hmm.
see that because you know
Mm-hmm.
what? At the end of the day, one day you're going to have to work side by side with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to need to trust your skills. And you know how I'm going to trust your skills? When I know I've taught you some of them.
But
You
see,
know,
women like that, the older women who have been doing it forever, why would you not want to teach the younger women how to do things better or wiser? You know what I'm saying? Like you're saving people's lives. Like it's not about what the other person knows. It's about the patient. The patient is what comes first. And those women are just like, oh, I don't want you guys to know my secrets or
It
whatever.
it should
And
be that way,
it,
but it's so
yeah,
not. Yeah.
it's fucked up. It's so fucked up. It's like I would want to have a nurse, young or old, to know exactly what they're doing. So,
I'm telling you, it's disgusting. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Kelsey, if you're still on, she's in nursing school. She should be graduating really soon if she hasn't already. She might be off because she might be studying for an exam or whatever. But it is really, really, and we're heavily populated with women in our field, you
right.
know? So it's definitely, but George says, but then they think you're trying to belittle them and they may feel you're looking down on them. So my response to that, George, is anyone who is in the medical field, nursing field, and they're there to learn, and you truly want to learn so that you could be a good nurse, you're never going to look at it as belittling. You're always going to look at it as
So
wanting
teaching.
a teaching moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Guys, I
Stopwatch.
love you. I have
But
something in my throat.
that
I'm gonna
Yes,
that
jump
about
off.
1
patient,
second.
okay.
Okay.
Love you. Thank you guys.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
But that's also with with my job being a chef. It's a very male predominant career.
Mhm.
So um, I don't take it as they're thinking that I don't know what I'm doing. I take it as like a learning experience. Like, yes, you're showing me an easier way or a quicker way or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Like, I appreciate that. So,
I think it's also how you present it,
Yeah.
right? How you approach it. Like, hey, listen, I think I'm very friendly. Like, and I'll be like, hey, listen, look, like I'm gonna show you something real easy. Like, come here, let me show you. Like, that's how I'm gonna approach you. I'm not gonna approach you like, so today I'm gonna show you. Like, I'm not doing it like that. I'm like, yo, sis, come here, come here. Like, look, this is how you,
or
this is how you do it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Or
So
or people are like, "Oh, you're doing that wrong," or whatever. Like if
right,
you come at you like, "Oh, that's not right," or there's a way better way than what you're doing. Like just come at you like what you were saying. Like make
right.
it fun, make it like approachable to somebody, and they'll be like more willing to learn from you that way, other than being like so negative.
Yeah. Mickey, I don't know if it's like that in other countries. I honestly don't know. And then Jim says they're afraid of being replaced by the new people because the management is always looking to save a buck or two.
I
Yes
mean,
and
true.
no. Yes and no. I mean, I'm in it firsthand watching it. And I got to tell you, I feel like it's a learned behavior. Because when you're the student and you see that behavior being put on you, when you come up, you kind of fall into that same category. Like you repeat the cycle.
Nobody helped me, so I'm not helping you.
Exactly. Like that's the way I
Yeah.
had to learn. So that's the way you're gonna learn, and definitely. But so you're saying, Lady E, that and where you're at is predominantly male.
Right.
Um, so are there any females that you work with? And because there's less females, is it a different outlook?
So I'm a cook. I'm a chef. So usually cooks and chefs are males. So it's basically when I come into a new job, I basically have to prove myself every time because they feel like women are not good enough to work in a kitchen. And that has always been my case, no matter what kitchen or position that I'm working in. A lot of the females are like front of the house, servers and stuff like that. And, they, there's a lot of like front of the house, back of the house tension because it's like, what do you think? You're not doing this and you're not doing that, whatever the case may be. But I have been getting some little vibes off of the female front of the house people because I'm a female and I work in back of the house. So it's
All my
like,
experience mostly is in restaurants and bars, front of house. And if
yeah,
there's a girl back there talking to all the girl cooks and all the guys, like, of course the girls in the front are gonna be mad. You got the in.
right? Yeah, and they feel like they're intimidated or they're like they feel like I don't
Because if
know.
you walk in and you say that girl was stupid, all the guys are gonna laugh and like whatever.
Yeah,
You definitely are on the inside, so you're the enemy. I could see that happen.
yeah,
Not with everybody, but I could definitely see how that.
yeah.
And
It's tough. It's like I have to prove myself like every day and bring my A game every day. And I mean it's exhausting. It's exhausting and I shouldn't have to do that. And I mean I do what I have to do, work what I have to do, and that's it. Like I don't care about what other people think. I don't care about what the girls think about me or whatever. They give me attitude, I give them attitude right back because that's not how I that's not how I roll.
Because you're gonna get some of this spice,
Yes.
you know.
George says you might
Oh, sorry.
you might take their jobs, that's why. well, I mean, if they're not cutting it, why not?
So George has also been in the restaurant business for 20 years. He's done bar back, the bar, all of that. So,
You
he
know,
definitely can.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he knows all of it.
It's a tough career to be in, especially for a woman who's in the kitchen, because a lot of the chefs and men don't take women seriously. And it's very frustrating. And it's like they're always constantly challenging you. So it's
And the kitchen can be kind of a locker room. Like, it gets kind of weird.
But
yeah.
how? So the women that are usually working the front, right? Because then you've got the women who are usually mainly the waitresses. I'm not saying that there aren't men. I'm just
Right.
saying predominantly, and
Yeah.
the
It's like,
bartenders are usually predominantly, the females, depending on your kind of what your genre or your prime um
Yeah.
patrons
your
are,
market.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what your market is. So do you find that the female bartenders kind of have a thing against the female cooks, or is there some camaraderie there because they understand what's going on in the back with the guys?
No, I think that they don't understand at all. Like I feel like they always have an attitude. So I feel like like the bartenders especially, like I feel like they have more of an attitude with the cooks, especially just with females in general. And um, the place that I work at has more female servers than males, but we do have male servers, and most of them are they're pretty respectful and stuff. It's like some like the bartenders usually are the ones that are like who have to serve the food to the people at the bar. They're usually the ones that are more snobby and bitchy about their food and their customers and all that stuff. So um,
I'm gonna get back to Stephanie's, but George is saying it's two different worlds, Chris. So I guess I don't understand the whole language of the
it is.
restaurant business.
It's front of the house versus back of the house. Like it's two different, completely different worlds.
It's like comparing day shift and night shift, how they're always going to war no matter what, like in every field.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
so I understand the day shift, night shift thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's like
understand
that.
that. Totally, totally understand that. You know. Well, Stephanie says I've been getting some hate from some female coworkers ever since I got promoted, even though they originally said they were happy for me. So, restaurants are filled with high school mentalities.
Yep,
True.
You would
very
be
true.
surprised. And Lady E, am I wrong? So I guess not. So back to Stephanie's comment. Stephanie, I don't know who could ever hate you. You are an amazing human being. And look, I'm doing it. Like I'm just doing it. It's just so
And
natural for me to do
and
it.
and I do it too. I do it too. I compliment on women who like I don't even know. I don't even know you. But if you're rocking some shit that I'm feeling, I'm gonna tell you. Like, yeah, that's girl, you look amazing. You look wonderful. And I think all women love to hear that from other women, and I think it needs to be more of it. Like, so I grew up in Tampa, Florida, where women do not uplift other women. Like, it is nope, never in my life have this happen. Um, I moved. I moved to California. I met a lot of women in the military, all different races, everywhere in the world. A lot of the women that I met there, I became very close friends with, and they were all very, very uplifting, which was very different, like for me.
Mhm.
So um, that whole experience changed my life. Like it made me realize, like, this is how women are supposed to be towards each other, and this is how I want to be, and it changed me a lot. And I'm like, I did a lot of self-reflecting. I'm like, wow, okay, because back then I was jealous, I was hateful, I was all the above, back when I was younger. I'm willing to admit that. And now I'm just like, since I've grown up and I've realized I've met a lot of people from other states, other countries, and I'm like, you know, this is what women need to hear. This is what women want to hear, and there should be more women like, all of us and all of them that I met. And, I just that that just really changed my life, and I will always go forward with that.
Real quick, George, Stephanie is a social worker for hospice. So she does bereavement coordinator. She was promoted to director, I believe, manager for bereavement and social work in hospice, within hospice. So that's why I don't know who could ever hate her. Like, she's just an amazing human being. Like, Stephanie, tell me who they are, and I'll go kick some ass. Exactly. So don't even worry about that.
It's always gonna happen though. Like no matter where you go, it's always gonna be there, which is really sad. But and especially because feminism is so big right now, and we're
Right.
all
You would
trying
think,
to, yeah, we're
right?
all trying to like be our authentic selves and be beautiful, and every person is beautiful no matter what shape, age, size, color, whatever. And um, just knowing that other people are not catching up to that or realizing that, it just really upsets me. And
What about you, Miss Spitter? What have you experienced?
Well, first I want to say, Lady E said about herself when she was younger that she was jealous and hateful, and I think that's the bottom line. And also, she didn't know how to act that way until somebody treated her that way first, and that's you. So there's a lot of people that have never been treated nice by another girl, and they don't know how nice it is and how great it is to be like, yes, thank you, okay. They're just not secure, and people act like that. Every once in a while, full disclosure, I'll look at somebody and be like, she looks like a bitch. And I'm like, why did I just think that? Because she looks really cute, and I have to find out what's going on with me when I think that. But when you guys both have come to a place where you're real happy with yourself, you're real successful, you're secure, you love on other people. And it's just not that way for everybody.
Did you see Mr. Clips? You think you're getting
saying?
some karma at Lady E?
No, I mean, I do believe in karma. I do. And maybe that is the case. I mean, I wasn't going out like, bringing women down all the time and like talking shit to other women. No, I would do it behind their backs, of course, just like all the other women do. Let's be real here. But I never, like, I would bring my friends up, my personal friends. Like, I would uplift them in the moment. But people I didn't even know, then yeah, that's like a different story. It's like, that's when women talk shit about other women, is because you don't know that person and you're not even giving them the opportunity to know that person. So of course you're gonna judge them or look at them like, oh, this person does this or this or this, and you don't even know like their story. And that's how women are. And if you once you get to know somebody, even if it just takes one little act of kindness to another woman to open up that experience to get to know somebody. Like you can give them one little compliment and then that could start like a huge friendship and a great friendship. But you never know unless you actually do it. So
I get this thing that I got this resting bitch face. I look unapproachable.
yep.
Like if you didn't know me and I was walking down the street, you'd be like, "Oh, she's a bitch." Like, don't even talk to
Right?
her. But I am so completely opposite of that. If you just say hi, I'm like, "Oh my God, hi, how you doing? What's going on?" I tell people all the time, don't ask me how I'm doing if you don't want to know, because I will tell you exactly how I'm doing. I will have a whole conversation with you. I will tell you about my kids and my grandbabies. I'll pull out my phone and be like, "Oh, these are my grandbabies. Look." Like, I mean, I will do it all. But if you just look at someone and assume that you know their personality by looking at them, you're like you're putting yourself in a deficit, right?
Right.
Of how many great people you can have in your life. You know, so I think as women, and especially with this feminist movement that we are having, we need to embrace each other as women, and sisters more, than we're doing. And we need to come outside of our shell just a little bit and figure out what the jealousy is from. Is the jealousy because you think they have something more than you have? They know something more than you know? You want what they have? You know how you can obtain those things? By asking them how they obtained it, you
Right.
know? And
Yeah.
opening up that dialogue. And I think we just need to be more open, to
Right.
receiving that information and giving that information. But we have a
Yeah.
comment. Let's see. I think it's just
Because
good. You want to read
okay.
it?
No, no, you go ahead and read
Okay.
it.
Um, it isn't just women. I think it's human nature to judge someone on face value before getting to know them. It's human nature. We all have to do a little better. I do it all the time. And
Yeah.
hello, Mr. Ramirez. I know him from back in elementary school. All my peoples. What? Yes.
No, I totally agree with that. That's very
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Edgar's right. Yeah, absolutely.
But
Um,
I met a lot of women, and usually after we become really good friends, and then after we become friends, they always tell me, "Man, I thought you were like the biggest bitch when I first met you." Because just like the style and like your face and like all this stuff, and like I thought you were just this person, and now that I got to know you, I realized that you're not like that. And so like that right there is
I'm
like,
saying no to George, by the
don't
way.
judge a book by its cover, okay? And all I think most women have resting bitch face. Just let's put that out there right there.
And
And
I think just because you're cute and you're friendly, they're like, she's probably a bitch.
right,
Like, not even
exactly.
your face. It's just that, you know, you got a lot
Yeah,
going on.
right. Exactly. She must be a bitch. She must be stuck up. And I got
Yeah.
that a lot too. It was like, oh, you look really stuck up. Like you're like this. And I was like, whoa, like I am
Yeah.
not like that at all. And people always judge people by the looks and before they even get to talk to them. That's why I
Right,
love going out and
impression.
talking to people because like you never even know like who you're gonna meet, who you're gonna talk to, what they look like. And I think that's a lot of people
And what
need to
you
stop
can
being
learn
so
from them.
big.
I'm all about growing my knowledge base. I'm always
Right,
about what can you teach me? Like feed me knowledge because that's what I want.
right,
Um and like I'm one of those, so like when I was out in Vegas, right? I see these people had the tie mask, right? Like that you just tie in the back like that. And I know how to make it easier so you could tie it around the ears. So you just put it around the ears. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna tell them. I think I want to stop them and tell them how to fix the earpieces. And my friend was like, no. And I was like, but I should tell them because I have knowledge and I want to share it with the world. Like,
yes, yes,
kind of thing. And I do that all the time. Like I could be somewhere and somebody's in the aisle looking for Tylenol. And I'm like, well, what do you need it for? Do you have muscle pain or do you have migraines? Well, I'm going to tell you to go with the ibuprofen. Like I'm
I love
so
that.
like, I will stop and you could turn around and be like, she is so nosy. But guess what? I just gave you information that you didn't have, and I helped you out with a little bit of knowledge, and maybe it's going to be a little bit easier. I had a hangover, and I went to the drugstore in Las Vegas, and I was like, shit, I didn't bring my Compazine. So I was like, you got Dramamine? And she was like, for a hangover? I was like, yeah, I got nausea and vomiting. What do you think Dramamine is for? It's for nausea and vomiting. I don't just have to be motion sickness. Mind blown, right? Like, you know? like things like that I tell, like those little things, like, and it helped me with my nausea and vomiting. And then, like, so certain things. So I will give you my opinion even if you don't ask for it. And I think that's where people kind of then change their perspective of me. They're like, okay, well, maybe she's not what I thought she is. But I will put myself out there and look like a fool and not care, because at the end of the day, you have a whole different perspective of me at that point,
Right. Yeah.
And
And you know what? Okay, let's read Edgar's comment. Edgar? Is that his
Edgar,
name? Unfortunately, you have to be a little defensive with our demeanor because there are a lot of people out there with bad intentions. So don't blame yourselves. You need that
resting bitch face.
RBF,
Mm-hmm.
RBF to survive, especially growing up in New York. I mean, not even New York, okay? In
Everywhere.
Tampa, and Tampa especially, everybody is mean. Everybody, like, you will not believe. Like, I grew up in Tampa, and then I moved to Nebraska, the Midwest, and the whole, like, it was just a huge different culture shock because everybody in Tampa is so mean and so like kept to themselves, and they only worry about themselves and nobody else. And then I go to Nebraska and it's like everybody is so friendly and everybody's so like willing to help you out with everything. And I was like,
Definitely
well, what do
environment.
you want from me? Like, what are you trying? Like, it was a culture shock for real. I was like the first week that we were there, we were staying in a hotel, and I think he was 2. My son was 2 at the time, and him and I walked to the grocery store to get a few things, and we were walking back, and this couple pulled over and was like, "Do you need a ride?" And I was like, "What? Huh? What? Are you trying to like kidnap us? Are you trying to like are you gonna like kill us somewhere?" Like I was so taken back because nobody in Tampa would have done that, And I was like, wow, like people are really, really nice out here. And they took us home and we were fine. And even my son, he was like 2 at the time. He was like, I don't want to go in that car. And I was
Like, we're going in the car,
like,
boy.
but
But
it was a complete different culture shock. And I think more people should be open to learning different cultures and being in different states and learning everybody and being open, have an open mind to
right.
people because you never know what you're gonna learn.
And look, so real quick, Mickey, yes, Dramamine helps with dizziness, nausea, and vomiting. That's why it helps with the motion sickness and vertigo. So if you're nauseous after the next day from a hangover, you pop some Dramamine, 2 Dramamines, and you'll be good to go. If you have
Is that
Compazine
over
or
the
Zofran,
counter?
you're good. It's over the counter. But if you have
Oh, okay.
it's over the counter. So see, just taught somebody. Teach one, right?
Hey,
So,
I don't remember that.
now, New York people are not all horrible. We are on the defense, right? Just because of our environment. But we can also sense, I feel like we have a better sense of character when you're in a situation. Like you can kind of trust somebody even if you don't know them. Like if there was 2 dudes standing on the train with you, right? And one looks shadier than the other, and some shit's about to go down, you're gonna lead over to the one who's not looking that
You
shady,
can
just
read
because,
people.
right? Like, yeah, you can kind of read people a little bit better. But not all New Yorkers are bad. I think it's a demeanor we put on. It's a mask we put on, and it's just a mask. But once
And
you
you know
take
what
that
else?
mask off,
I
mhm,
think the New York accent gets mistaken as rude because it's quick and it's hard and it's like kind of aggressive, you know? You could be
There's
saying the nicest thing in a New York accent. It sounds like you want to fight.
yeah,
right.
yeah. They're like, yo, so what up, son? And all you saying is, "What's up? How you doing? Yo, it's mad brick out here." Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, what's popping? What's popping? And I'm just saying what's going on, and you thinking I'm like, what's popping? Like, nah, I'm just saying what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
But
So
see, a lot of New Yorkers come down to Florida too. I've met so many New Yorkers down here, and the way that they speak and talk and stuff, it's like it's a culture shock there too, because they're like have all these different slangs and meanings, and you have to learn. So Tampa is like a melting pot for everybody
yes,
that comes
you got
from.
everybody.
Yeah,
So keep an open mind, George.
right.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm here for all your medical needs. I will send you the bill in the mail. But in any case, oh,
The nurse.
bills in the mail. Yes, bills in the mail. Look, you know we from the same hood. You know we from the same hood. Growing up in the Bronx definitely teaches you how to read a room. Absolutely, and that's I feel like a skill that you have to have when you're kind of in the city, in the urban
read
area.
read the other comment from the other guy.
Which one?
His name.
From Mr. England.
Yeah, England. Yeah,
Yeah.
fact. I talk more shit now living in Tampa than I did when I was in Brooklyn.
So what do you mean by talk more shit? Like you get it popping, or like see you from Brooklyn, so you know what I'm talking
No,
about.
it's like you have to have like this chip on your shoulder when you're walking around Tampa. Like you have to like act like you own this shit when you're
More than
walking around.
New York?
I mean, I don't know about New
Really?
York because I've never been there, but it's different here. Like nobody
Wow.
is friendly. Like nobody is friendly at all. Like it's it's crazy because I moved from Nebraska to California, and both places were like super friendly. And then I moved back to Tampa, and it's like I had to like adjust myself. Like I had to like, you know, feel out people's vibes. And a lot of the vibes that I got was back the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk to me. And that was a complete different thing that like when I was used to, I had to get used to it all over again. But it's it's crazy. It's
So
different.
so just like I challenged everybody in the last one about taking 15 to 30 minutes for yourself, I'm gonna challenge everyone to kind of take an inward perspective when they're meeting someone for the first time or in a situation where um, you may have an opinion of someone just based on their appearance, to take a step back and take 5 minutes to reflect on your perspective and where is it coming from, and adjust it a little bit and see if you can open up your mind to um, a different possibility. I challenge you to do that. One person, one
Even
opportunity,
even if it's just a simple little compliment, like
a
I like you,
smile. Can I
or
tell you, a
smile.
smile and a hello makes a difference, a world of
Yeah,
difference. And to
yeah,
women, like even from one woman to another woman, let me tell you, if I see you with some shoes that are banging, I'm like, yo, sis, where you get those? I was on the elevator in Vegas, and this woman was like, "Oh my God, your sandals are so cute." I was like, "Amazon, $17." Right? Because
I
I'm
believe
all
that.
about my deals. I'm all about, and then we just started chopping it out. Like, you
yeah,
just start, do it. And it's taking that, compliment another woman. And it's
right,
not creepy. It is not, just, oh, I like your curls. Don't say, are your
right.
curls natural? Because then you're going to get punched in the mouth because mine are natural. Just,
Or
I like
is your
your
hair
curls.
real? Is that
Right,
real hair?
right.
No.
Right. No, just, I love your hair, or I love your outfit. I challenge you as a woman to approach another woman and just one little thing, one little compliment. Like it can make
And
a
you don't
world of
even you but you don't even know if that would make their whole day or their whole week or their whole month. Like you have no idea what that little act of kindness could do for their life. So just like Chrissy was saying, I challenge you to give at least one woman a day or one woman a week or however many women you see, just, compliment them on something. I get compliments all the time from women and I love it. And just
And we dress for
accept
other women. We don't dress for men. We dress for other
no.
women.
don't know.
You know?
I mean, I dress for myself. I wear what I want to wear and I wear it comfortably and I like the way that I dress. And I mean, it's not for other men, it's not for other women. I just do whatever I want to do. But if somebody compliments me, then, thank you. And I'm going to compliment them right back.
So Mr. Ramirez says, that happened to me when I first moved to Fort Lauderdale. I was walking into a gas station. This guy was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "Must be from up north." I was just saying hello. I was like, "Oh, okay, true story."
Yep.
And then
There's different what's up.
Yeah.
I have to say, yeah, what's up? Yeah. So I got it already. So I have to stay defensive because somebody always has something to say, then get hurt when you give it back. One act of kindness can be contagious. You never know what someone is going through. You might make their day and change their whole perspective. Absolutely, absolutely, 1,000%. Oh, thank you, George. And then when I'm meeting new people, I'm very quiet. People assume I'm an asshole and mean. Miss Spitter has known me for years. So is he an asshole and mean?
He's a full sweetheart, completely.
Okay.
Love him.
But it's that, and I think it has a lot to do with, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it over and over and over and over again. And I think I'm gonna copyright this shit. I always say, if all you've experienced is all you know, then you have a deficit of knowledge, right?
Right.
So if you don't expand your mind to new things and to receive new things, then you're always going to be in a deficit. And you
Right.
just have to, definitely open up that mind. Word, great episode. Thank you, Mickey. We appreciate it. It wasn't ratchet tonight.
I suggest to everybody, if you grew up where you were living now, you've always been there, and you don't really know other cultures and people, I suggest that you travel. Like go to other places. I mean, even if you are not financially able to go to other places,
The
I
internet is
just
a wonderful
suggest
place.
you, yes, the internet. I mean, you can learn a lot about people, make friends on Facebook. Like, Facebook is a great opportunity to just meet new people, talk to new people, and expand your mind. Listen to what they have to say. Listen to other people's points of views and opinions because it may be different from your own, but have an open mind and have an understanding, like, why do they think this way? Like, get to know that person and different views on life, because if you're going to be like closed-minded and this is what I know, this is all I know, like that's not going to get you anywhere in life. So that's my advice to you guys.
So listen, guys, if you liked what you've seen here, make sure you join our YouTube channel, drop a like, comment. I've been loving the feedback tonight. Hit the notification button so you know when we're coming on live. Tell your friends, then tell your friends to tell their friends, and make sure you tune in Mondays at 9 p.m. to the Power P. And we are on the regular Clock Watch podcast every Tuesday and Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's all at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is it is 7 p.m. Mountain Time and 6 p.m. Pacific Time. All right. So I think I really loved today. Like I said, it wasn't really ratchet, but it's not always going to be ratchet, right? We want some insightful things here. We got Miss Spitter here, so we got to be very respectful. She's a woman of the cloth. So, we have to be respectful. But I am, I mean, is there anything else we want to give? Or we're kind of ready to say, all right,
just to wrap up this woman thing. If you see a woman that is doing better and looking better and hustling harder, just be her friend. Maybe she'll rub off on you. Don't be mad.
Exactly.
That's how I pick my friends.
Yeah. Like, you want to be better, right? Everybody wants to be better. They want to grow. They want to learn. I mean, at least I do. So I want to know what makes you do the things that you do and how do you do it. So I agree with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to start it off and I'm going to say again, thank you everybody for tuning in. This is our second Power P podcast and I'm really feeling it. The ladies did a phenomenal job. Montana had to sign off, but we always welcome her and thank her. Thank you for your opinion when you come on. Um, definitely a round of applause for Miss Spitter. Thank you for the subject matter. Thank you for bringing your insight. Appreciate it. And as always, Lady E, you know I love doing this with you every Monday night, every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday night. I feel like we should just get a room together. You know, like
Right?
we're always together. Uh, but thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. This will be on our pages for rewatch. So, you know, and join into the conversation. We usually do polls before our podcast to kind of get a feel of what's going on. Throw up some topics that you want us to talk about. Men, thank you for joining in tonight. And I'm long winded on this, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it off to Miss Spitter.
Well, thanks for having me. I am a huge fan. Everybody that's watching, if you don't watch every single episode, you're missing out. It's always different. It's always good. So watch them all. Subscribe to everything. You guys are doing a great job and keep it up. And I can't wait to come back next week and watch who we got on and what you're talking about.
Yay!
Thank
All
you.
right. So I want to thank Miss Spitter for coming on tonight because she did an amazing job picking the topics and just, you know, giving her input on everything. And Chrissy basically said it all, you know, make sure you like, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you really, really love it. I mean, we appreciate all the comments and everything. And if you want us to talk about something specific, hit us up, let us know, post it in our group and we will give you a woman's perspective. And I think a lot of the men in our group are already, you know, they want to hear other women's perspectives. So I really appreciate that. And you know, I love being on this podcast. I love being in this group, and it's an amazing opportunity for all of us. And I just really appreciate everything and everyone that has joined in tonight. And I cannot wait until next Monday when we do another one. And hopefully Miss Spitter will be here too. Yay!
So listen, guys, you can see us again tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. You'll find the link on our Clockwatch fan page. You can also go to YouTube and catch us there. But we're here Monday. We're here Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So tomorrow's Tuesday night. We got the guys joining in tomorrow. You know, that's our main one. But I think the ladies do it better. I'm gonna keep saying that, and I'm gonna get hate. I'm gonna be told I'm male bashing. Love you
Yeah,
guys.
we're always told that. Whatever. Okay.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow.